The Bengals got back on the winning track by beating the Woeful Panthers 34-24. They are now 1-3. Joe Burrow, solid. Defense, Brew, you famously gave up on the Bengals.
Well,
You've
look,
done this a few times over the years. You give up, you come back, you give up, you come back.
well, you overstated that a little bit.
Is your faith in Cincinnati restored?
I'll just say I may have overstated, overreacted to 0-3 when I said they're done.
But that's what you did before.
They still might make the play. I don't have much faith. They're not as good as I thought. I still stand on that because yesterday, that was a good game with the freaking Carolina Panthers.
Exactly.
And if not for, I think we were showing it, we might show it again. If not for this incredible play by Jamar Chase and some horrible tackling, I know coach is looking at that, who knows what happens in this game? I mean,
that's a great player, too.
Yes,
I mean, that's
but
why the
still,
Bengals are good.
But you rarely see a play
No,
like
I understand.
that. I mean, come on, that's just
football
odd.
players.
Right. Those are professional football players that should make those tackles. And so they were outgained by Carolina. Carolina had more time of possession. Like, they struggled with the freaking Carolina Panthers. So I'm just saying they still might make the playoffs because the AFC looks mediocre
But you also,
right now.
so here's the thing.
But
I
I don't
really
think-
want to focus on Wilds here. But you also think if they make the playoffs, they're scary. You just told us earlier.
They obviously play the Chiefs tough. I like them better than Buffalo
your
if they
faith
get
is
in.
somewhat
But
restored.
it's a little bit.
So I just want to show.
But my team is the Ravens.
Listen, and by the way, Bengals-Ravens next week.
Yeah. So the Bengals
Huge
going to be
game.
1-4.
Well, maybe. Here, listen, Joe Burrow played terribly against the Patriots. And everyone that watches this show knows it because Wilds then lectured us that you can't think the Patriots are bad if you don't think the Bengals are awful. You told us. You did a whole thing about it. Since then, Joe Burrow has been extraordinary. Now, the Bengals team defensively is the worst team of the Joe Burrow era. But Kevin Wilds,
Yes.
last week you gave us a list of quarterbacks that you think are better than Joe Burrow. Is that list shorter today? Are you willing to be back on the Joe Burrow's clearly, undoubtedly one of the at worst, five best quarterbacks in football?
He's playing well. But we have a rule on this show early in NFL seasons. It's the same reason we're not giving Aaron Rodgers a ton of credit. If your wins are against teams that everyone knows are bad, you don't get to put on a gold jacket and start working on the bust for Canton. You beat literally the worst team. I'm sorry to Trevor Lawrence, one of the worst teams for your first win. So my opinion has not changed.
So here's the thing. I agree with you that we have a rule on this show. As a team, if you only beat bad teams, your team might not be great.
Yeah.
But as an individual player, if you play great, and by the way, he played very well against the Chiefs. They lost, but that, in my eyes, was not on him.
You think he was great yesterday? I don't think he was great.
I thought he was good. I thought the pick at the end was bad.
Hold on now. Carolina had the ball with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter with a chance to tie the game. That play by Jamar Chase, that wasn't a great throw. That was a great run after the catch that went for a lot of yards. Now, T. Higgins had 6 catches. Jamar Chase is showing some life. There's a lot of positives. They're running the ball better. All those things are encouraging. But it's not like you look at that game against a team that's extremely challenged and say, now, it would have been a lot more impressive if they did to Carolina what Baltimore.
No, I understand.
Nick, if not for that play by Chase, he's got about 165
Well, I don't know.
yards.
If not for that, maybe he gets those same yards on that same drive. The last week, they never punted, they never turned the ball over. They scored 33, and they lost. I think Joe Burrow played great in that game.
Last week he did.
This week, they scored 34 points. I think Joe Burrow played very well. I watched the Chiefs game. We all saw it. I thought Joe Burrow played very well. So I don't look at that he has played terribly. I think he played terribly in one game. I think you're too down on him because the team isn't great.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay.
Don't make $60 million. Make $20 million. And his commitment to ball security.
Well done, Wilds.
He's now turned the ball over in 9 straight games, which leads the league. Here he is after losing to the Bucs.
I think overall, I just have to play better. I got to play better. I have a ton of opportunities to lead the offense and really play complementary ball, and it starts with me on that side of the ball. And I would get down like we did. We got to help. I have to help the defense out.
Does Philly have a Jalen Hurts problem?
Well, they have a lot of problems, but now he's one of them. They used to have problems other than him. Now he is one of their many problems. And we'll talk more about their many problems later in the show. But on Hurts, and Sirianni after the game tried to say, he's like, strip sacks don't count as fumbles. Essentially, and that's sometimes true. You know what I mean? There are certain times where there's instant blindside pressure and you don't hold against it. This ain't one of them. As my old partner Chris Carter used to say, where did you think the guy went? The guy who you avoided and went right behind you. Like, where did you think he went? And so, but it's not a 1 game or a 4 game thing. Since the Super Bowl, here is Jalen Hurts. 27 turnovers. He has played 22 games. Passer rating below average. Like, it's just, my answer is yes. Because he is paid like he is supposed to be part of the solution, and he is the most turnover-prone player in the NFL right now.
There's no denying it. Right now, he's a problem. You know, like he's just, as Nick said, since the Super Bowl, he hasn't played well. And when you look at his career, he's had his 4+ seasons. He's had 1 good/great year. That's it. Now, he hasn't fallen off like Carson Wentz. But he is struggling. He doesn't look confident, and we're going to get into Sirianni. Sirianni seems like he's lost his confidence as well when you watch him in the press conferences. But we're like, Jalen Hurts is blowing it right now. And I know, again, we can talk about the coaching. You want to talk about the offensive coordinator. Last year he had Brian Johnson, who was like a longtime family friend. That didn't work out. Now Kellen Moore, that's not working out. You look at the talent around him. He's got one of the best offensive lines in the league. I know the receivers were out yesterday, both of the top ones, but still, generally you got a great receiving core. You got one of the best running backs in the league, and he's not getting it done. So I think he can turn it around and play better. But just like people are looking at Sirianni and their defense and Vic Fangio, you got to look at Hurts now too.
Yeah, you hear it in his voice at the press conference. Before, he always says the right thing. Before, there was conviction in his voice. I'm going to get this fixed. Now it's almost like he's looking for an answer to how he's going to get it fixed. And I'll just show you some more statistics that reinforce what Nick said. And it kind of reminds you of what they went through with Carson Wentz. When you look at his big season, his TD percentage, his interception percentage, and his turnovers, high TD percentage.
8 turnovers
and then
all of that year.
You go to the next year. Now you're down in TD percentage, your interception percentage, same thing, and right on down the line, we're at 20 turnovers last year. In 2023, we're already at 7 this year. In 2024.
Yeah, and I think those interception percentage numbers are transposed. It was 1.3 in 2022.
1.3, the 2.8.
And 2.8 last year.
Yeah, those should be flipped on the other side. But there's been this regression in every category, significant category, and they're just looking for answers, and not a lot have come.
Okay. Much for handling success. The Jets put up 9 points at home in a drizzle. Lost to the Broncos.
He talked about it like
it was not.
I know, it was unbelievable.
It was not that bad. Lost to the Broncos are now 2-2. Afterwards, the team's 5 false starts became the talking point between coach and quarterback. Take a listen.
We got to figure it out. Whether or not we're good enough to handle all the or ready to handle all the cadence. Cadence had not been an issue all camp. Felt like our operation had been operating pretty good. Obviously, today it took a major step back.
It's one way to do it. The other way is hold them accountable. I mean, we haven't had an issue. We've had 1 false start. Morgan had 1 false start, I believe, until this. So, you know, it's been a weapon. We use it every day in practice. We don't, we rarely have a false start. And to have, I don't know, 5 today, it seemed like, 4 or 5. Yeah, that seems like an outlier. I don't know if we need to make mass changes based on, kind of an outlier game.
Okay, now of course Saleh then walked it back today.
Oh, then shocking.
He said,